What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Best Bet show. As always, I'm your host, Matty Chucks, with my co-host, Austin's Props, and special Monday guest, Alex Caruso. It's Monday, our favorite day of the year. How are we doing today, fellas? Austin, let's start with you.
I just have to say, man, that energy intro was electric. Are you kidding me? Welcome back. If you're not fired up for Monday, I don't really know what to tell you. It's the best day of the week. I say it every single week. We've been red hot here. Like, I don't think people are giving us our flowers, and I'm not trying to pat my back too hard, but us fellas have been cooking on these shows. If you've been here, you know that. So we're super excited for this one. Not a great game on paper, but we've said it all year. These type of games are the ones we seem to cash out well on. So super excited to get into it. As always, great to see you. Alex, how are you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely amazing. I mean, again, another Monday, like you said, it is the worst day of the week for people that are working, but it is the best day of the week for sports betting. That's why we're here. That's what we're talking about. I've hit 2 straight first touchdown bets on Mondays, so trying to go for 3 today, the little trifecta, and I think we've been hot on them all season. Hope people are tailing.
Absolutely. We already got someone in here saying Caruso is fucking crushing it. Don't know if he's talking about Alex Caruso on the Bulls. We'll get clarification on that later because he's also playing well. Ryan's is happy Monday. Up over 50 units in November, surely because of y'all. Absolutely.
Man. Come on.
Have another day.
Let's go.
Bengals, Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence versus Jake Browning. But we're going to get over that hump. I wish it was Joe Burrow. But it is what it is. We still have some plays for today. All of us have posted our plays. Austin, did you post your NFL plays yet?
NBA is up. NFL, I'm going to have probably within the hour. So have not posted them. Like always, thank you, Chance. I appreciate you, mate. But,
what a handsome guy.
Handsome guy, man. What a great looking lad. But no, I'll have it out here within the hour.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about the plays we already posted. Me and Alex on similar plays for our boy Evan Engram. I took his receptions. You took his receiving yards. I think both hit. So I think it's kind of like no matter what happens in that game, he's going to probably get both. I'll talk about receptions for a bit, then you can finish off on yards. Bengals definitely the better target overall for yards. But versus top 10 targets for receptions, he crushed it every single week. The only 3 misses he didn't get 5 this season was in the 20th, 23rd, or 20th, 22nd, and 28th best chances. So one of the worst targets in the league. It's the Niners, Titans, and Bills defenses. Again, there's a lot of options for the deep ball. Ingram's going to get some screens. Ingram's going to get some third and short targets. I think he leads the team in targets. But this receiving yard line and receptions line, the reception line is right where it is. Receiving yard line still pretty low. Alex, talk about why you're taking the receiving yards today.
Well, receptions is a great play because the Bengals run mostly cover 1 and cover 3, and Evan Engram has a 25% target share versus those coverages, which is perfect for taking something like receptions, which I also love. I'm taking yards because no team has allowed more receiving yards to the tight end position than the Bengals by a lot in the last 5 weeks. 4 of the 5 starting tight ends to play against them, had 71 or more receiving yards. I'm taking him over 47.5. Do you know who the one guy who missed was?
Kelsey.
It was Mark Andrews, who had 21 receiving yards in the
first drive.
First drive.
It was the first drive.
So otherwise, right now, the Bengals would probably be even worse, and we'd probably have 5 guys in a row with over 71 yards. That 47.5 line for Engram is just way too juicy to not be taking.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I definitely know that it was the first drive because I might have bet Mark Andrews in that game and was definitely upset. But you still got to put the injury in that L online when it happens. It happens to the best of us. It is what it is. Somebody said the whole world on Engram today. Yeah, I mean, the whole world was on Najee Harris rush attempts too, and that was an absolute no-brainer, and they lost. So I don't like when everyone says the whole world is on this, so it's going to lose. Like
those hit. They hit. They hit more than they don't. It hurts more when you lose, but they hit more than they don't.
Yeah, and
again, a lot of times I feel like too, like with our plays, like us 3 all work together. We all have similar, we look at the play similar. We talk about plays together. So if they see a play like Tyreek Hill yesterday, everyone's like communal play, 100.5 yards, there's a reason it's a communal play. A lot of us are working together and we realize it's a high quality play, you can't just not play something.
78-yard catch in the first.
Right. Just because it's communal doesn't make it a bad play.
Yeah, no, I agree. Another one we're both on. Alex posted it already, and I posted in the Dub Club. It's coming out to Twitter later, but the cat's out the bag. Brandon Kickmanis. I definitely made up that name myself. I'm going to stick with it. Versus the Bengals. Any team in a primetime game with a big spread, I'm probably already looking at that favorite no matter what, because they're not going to have to chase game script touchdowns to end the game. And odds are, I think with Jake Browning, we saw the Steelers get 3 field goals off of a 3-and-out or 4-down drives. They just can't move the ball as well with Jake Browning compared to Joe Burrow, which could lead to short field position for the Jaguars. Or even if they don't, the Jaguars are going to move the ball. And the Bengals defense hasn't been as good as it was previously, but they can still show up, and they're going to have to keep this game close. I think forcing field goals is the only way this game is somewhat close early on.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, like there's been 3 straight kickers against the Bengals to make at least 2 field goals. When Brandon McManus has had a really good kicker matchup, he's kicked at least 2 field goals in 3 straight games, hit 3 or 4 this year. And like you talked about, 80% of the kickers to play on primetime this year have at least 2 field goal attempts. And usually, that 80% with 2 attempts, more likely than not, guys are going to end up covering. And I think that this is a really, really good line to continue to target that. Chuck's been playing it all season. He is the mastermind behind it. And I think we have to hammer it again tonight because it's going to hit more than it misses. So you got to take it with the wins and losses.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. This one said, what about Mixon over receiving? Isn't this a hammer spot? Who wants to talk about Mixon? I know it's tough. Whenever you have that new quarterback, you always think, in my opinion, they're going to probably dump off more often than not. I think losing game script does help that as well. I honestly don't know what the line is. I know his receptions is juiced to over 2.5, where I was going to play that. I'm not really sure I'm in love with it, but I honestly haven't looked at it enough to make it a play. Alex, did you look at that at all? Or did you look at rushing yards? What are you doing?
Yeah, I did. So I really like Mixon from the standpoint that the Jaguars have allowed the 3rd most receiving yards to running backs. My only caution is that Mixon has been under 50% route participation in back-to-back games. Most of the season, he was around 60 or 70% of the routes, but now Jake Browning has a much lower pass attempt total line than Joe Burrow does normally, and Mixon has been under on that route participation in back-to-back weeks. So I think it's a good matchup, but I think like the trap line is obviously there's 2 things that are significantly different with no Burrow and him being under 50%. To me, I'm probably just taking an under on rushing yards because I think that the receiving yards line is kind of a wash because you can look at it both ways, that it could be a trap whether you're taking over or under.
No, I agree. And it is a great line. It's a great matchup for those, targets, like worst target to this, worst target to that. But I do think you're right. I think also defenses have to play more honest when it's Joe Burrow. You can kind of stack the box and hope Jake Browning's going to beat you in the air. So I wouldn't be shocked if they sent a little more blitzes or just played a little more stacking the box and not allowing any rushes, because they also don't allow a lot of rush yards as it is. And expecting Jake Browning to beat you with deep balls and just finding the guys like Higgins or Chase, it seems like they'd rather that happen than them kind of get beat by Mixon. And I think I might go yards over receptions, because if I had to choose, I'm just answering the guy's question, because he could break out for a long, maybe, garbage time reception for like 15, 20 yards. But it's hard for me to take any Bengals prop besides like a Jamar Chase, just because, we saw with Aiden O'Connell when Devontae Adams, I think there's just a locker room demand of like, yo, give me the rock. Like the new quarterback, whether he's a veteran or a rookie or whatever the case may be, Jamar Chase, the number one wide receivers are going to demand the ball. And I think that with Higgins coming back, I don't know how limited he's going to be. He's in a contract year, so he's going to want to perform, but it's just too many, I guess, cautions on Boyd or Higgins, and it's going to be tough. I think Chase is the only option for me today. This guy said Kirk receiving yards. I don't know what the line is, but did you guys look at any Jaguars wide receivers today, or are you staying off?
I'm going back. I personally was looking at Jamar Chase. I think I'm going to end up playing him, but looking more at that receiving line real quick, just that Joe Mixon line. I don't know if you guys saw, but Devin Singletary, 6 grabs, 54 yards. McCaffrey, 6 grabs, 47 yards. Najee Harris, 5 grabs, 42 yards. Jalen Warren, 4 for 19. Alvin Kamara, 12 grabs for 91 yards. Zach Moss, 6 for 38. Jonathan Taylor, 5 for 46. James Cook, 3 for 25. Bijan, 5 for 32. Damian Pierce, 3 for 28. Jerick McKinnon 3 for 24. I mean, this is like every single running back has covered this line against them except Derrick Henry and Taiji Sharp, I believe 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, the hit rate is definitely there if you like that. I would say if Joe Burrow was there, I think everyone would be playing Mixon if the line was at 19.5 receiving yards. So something interesting worth noting. I might roll the dice on it just based off what I'm seeing volume-wise. It looks like there's tons of targets going out of the backfield. But I think Jamar Chase or Joe Mixon are both quality plays personally.
Yeah. No, I agree. I know he had 2 targets and 2 receptions for 44 yards. One of them was a 39-yarder. Looking at his game logs throughout the season against good matchups, he definitely performed well. I mean, I'm looking at receiving yards and receptions like the Seahawks. He had 3 on 4 for 24, Bills 5 on 6 targets for 31 yards. So it's definitely doable. And if you like the Jake Browning look, to me, I just don't know enough about Jake Browning, to be honest, to go there. This guy said, what do you think about Trevor Lawrence rush yards? I played his 11.5. I like it up to 15 plus. The Bengals allow a ton of rushing yards to QBs. Trevor Lawrence has hit that a lot this year. I think in primetime games, he's going to be moving a lot. I just hope there's not a blowout early. Though he wouldn't have to, but there's a lot of good Jaguars props, I think, today. And I think a lot of people are going to be happy with the way this game goes. I just hope it's somewhat close because I would hate for props to just be done if it's a blowout. But this Bengals defense, I think, can be stout enough to stop that from happening. Do you guys have any more looks before we start diving into more questions? Austin, anything tickle your fancy?
No, I was eyeing the pass attempt props, and honestly, today I don't really love them. I think Jake Browning's at 33.5, which seems a little high, but knowing this Bengals offense, you kind of have to respect the line. And then Trevor Lawrence at 31.5. I think it would go over, but just with the game script being a 10-point spread, if this one gets ugly quick, second half could be low passing volume from the Jaguars side. So nothing too crazy on that end. The interception props, I know you and I, Matt, have been pretty solid with. Not too sure. Jake Browning's minus 190. Not going to touch that one. Trevor Lawrence minus 115. Interesting spot. Don't really have a direct read on that one. I think if the game was supposed to be closer, the pass attempt kind of can show the interception line a little bit, and I think it shows the pass attempts a little down for a Bengals matchup. So not going to touch that either, but nothing too crazy.
No, I agree. I hope it's a fun one. Again, I think this Monday night game was circled earlier on in the year if Burrow was available.
Right.
You think that both guys would be fighting for playoff spots, but it's just not the case. This guy said Etienne over 2.5 receptions or anytime touchdowns. Do we have any thoughts there?
I think that, I just don't normally, especially in a primetime spot, I'm not really sure how I feel about betting on anything with ETN right now. He's probably going to come out and just have a great game tonight. But just like when you're going to try to find, if you're only going to bet on 2 or 3 things, I'd stay away from him because he's dealing with the rib injury. We don't know how healthy he is. The Jaguars know that they're going to be on a short week this coming week where they're going to be playing on Sunday, which is only 6 days rather than 7. So, like, yes, Travis Etienne come out, have a completely normal game. Alex, you're the dumbest person alive, of course. But the other side of it is just that there's a lot of factors where I would just go towards a different prop if he doesn't get the full load that he normally would.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I think injury concerns are tough with Higgins as well, just because you don't know what exactly he's going to be.
Yeah, it's not worth betting on.
Wise, yeah. Austin, anything else you come up with, or you want to get into our first touchdown score?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's get into the first touchdown score. Your boys do. So.
Are we letting Alex go first after he hit 2? Let me just mute his mic real quick.
Have to. Alex, do the honors. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, we hit Justin Watson plus 2,600 2 weeks ago. We hit TJ Hawkinson plus 800 last week. This week, we got to go with our guy, the community play, Evan Engram. Crazy target share, dominates versus these coverages. No team's been worse in the NFL against tight ends the last 5 weeks than the Bengals. So I think that he's going to find his way for a first touchdown. You can get that plus 1,100 right now on DraftKings.
Yeah, that's not hitting. But the one that will, we got Trevor Lawrence plus 1,500 on the other side. Jaguars going to go down. They're going to punch it in right off opening drive. 3rd and 8. We're going to see something where he rolls out garbage play, and he's going to dive in. Trevor Lawrence plus 1,500. I'm telling you it's hitting right now.
I like it. I like both. I'm going to go the other side because you guys are both on Jaguars props. I think the Bengals come out. I think Trevor Lawrence throws a pick.
Wow.
First drive. I think the Bengals get short field position, and Jamar Chase at plus 1,300 is if he throws a pick and Jamar Chase scores his first touchdown, I just want you to know that I deserve a ton of credit. It's probably not going to happen, but Jamar Chase, I think to keep this game close, the Bengals are going to have to score early. The defense won't be able to hold them down for too long. And I just think the value on a Jamar Chase, if this game was closer, they were favored to be plus 600, plus 700. So I'm going to take Jamar Chase on the Bengals side at plus 1,300 and just take the value. And we'll see what happens. I might sprinkle all of them because
Yeah, they might.
value,
They
and if
might
one
hit.
hits more money, but the Bengals defense would have been electric.
Anyone see the news that Shaquille Leonard just signed with the Philadelphia Eagles to play middle linebacker?
Are you kidding me?
Did not go to Dallas, so Eagles fans can celebrate that they don't have to play against him next week.
That's wild. That's insane. Well, that is it for today's episode. Alex, thank you again for coming on. Austin, always a pleasure. Guys, best of luck with your bets today. We'll see you guys next time. Go enjoy yourself. Go tackle this Monday. Peace out. Love you guys.